Hi, it's Marshall and thanks for watching. Today we're going to be talking about 10 phrases to sound more like a native speaker. Just a little bit of a disclaimer before we start off. I can't promise you that you are going to be able to sound like a native speaker after learning these 10 phrases, but this is certainly going to be some sort of like a shortcut to get there. Most importantly, this will serve as some sort of like a confidence booster. In other words, you are going to be able to sound a little bit more confident when you speak English after learning these phrases. But before we start up, guys, you're not going to be able to see my next videos. If you don't like this video, subscribe to the channel and activate the notifications bell so that YouTube will let you know whenever I drop a new video. Without further ado, we're going to jump right into that. Just like I mentioned earlier, we're going to be talking about 10 phrases to sound a little bit more like a native speaker. So we're going to start off by talking about catch on. To catch on means to begin to understand. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you're talking to someone and you don't know what they're talking about. So you're going to tell them something like, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. Can you explain a little bit more? Then you're going to start explaining whatever it is they're talking about. After that, you're going to say something like, oh, I guess I'm starting to catch on now. You mean you're starting to understand whatever it is they're trying to explain. And by the way, after the explanation, you're certainly going to be able to catch on. Or you're going to be able to catch on to what they're saying. In other words, you're going to begin to understand. Puzzled. To be puzzled means to be confused. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you text your mother in the morning and then you spend the whole day without hearing back from her. So you're going to be a little bit confused. You're going to be a little bit puzzled because your mother hasn't replied back after so long. Dead tired. Dead tired simply means tired. In other words, exhausted. Like you have no energy, especially after working really hard. I'm going to give you an example. I was dead tired when I got back from work yesterday. And guess what? I took a quick nap for like 30 minutes or so. Under control. But instead of saying under control, you're going to say something like, I got this. I'm going to give you an example so that you can understand what I'm talking about exactly. And by the way, I'm going to give you an example so that you can begin to catch on. Like I'm using one of the phrases we learned earlier. To catch on. Got it? Okay, I'm gonna give you an example now. Okay, let's say you are in a very difficult situation, like you are thinking about doing something, but you have no control over the circumstances. And somebody comes up to you and says, hey, I got this. So rest assured, I'm gonna help you out. To make up your mind. To make up your mind simply means to decide about something. I'm gonna give you an example. You know what? I haven't made up my mind about my future career. Like, I'm still thinking about my major. I'm still thinking about what I am going to major in when I go to college or when I go to university. I haven't decided about my major yet. I haven't made up my mind about my future career. I feel like doing something. To feel like doing something means to want to do something. Here's an example. It's been a long time since I went to the gym, so I feel like rollerblading. Like, I like sports, and today, I feel like rollerblading. I'm talking about rollerblading. I remember the last time I went out to rollerblade. It was really amazing. Anyways, let's continue. Piece of cake. When something is a piece of cake, it means it's easy. I'm gonna give you a practical example. And by the way, it's gonna be something that a lot of people have trouble with. I'm talking about math. Do you love math? Anyways, let's carry on. Hey, can you help me out with this algebraic fraction? Sure, no problem. That's a piece of cake. It's like when I say that, it's because I'm pretty good at math. And that particular problem, I'm talking about the algebraic problem, it's pretty easy. In other words, it's not rocket science. Like, it's a piece of cake. Right off the bat. Right off the bat means right away. In other words, immediately. I'm gonna give you an example so that you can know how to use right off the bat in a sentence. So here we go. You know, when I was at work this morning, one of my coworkers came up to me and offered me a burger. I took a bite, and right off the bat, I figured out that something was wrong. Like, the burger was terrible. It was awful, and I couldn't really stand it. So I threw it away. Right off the bat. Like, immediately. By the way, that's just an example. I didn't do that. That would be a little bit mean, right? Keep an eye on. To keep an eye on something means to pay attention to something. I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, let's say you are at the bus station and you're thinking about getting a ticket, but you got a lot of bags. And then you decide to ask somebody to take a look at your bags as you go get a ticket. So you're gonna say something like, hey, excuse me, sir, can you keep your eye on my bags as I go get a ticket? Like, you want them to take a look at your bags to avoid getting robbed. So they are gonna be keeping an eye on your bags while you're gone. Way to go. Way to go means congrats. In other words, congratulations. I'm gonna give you an example. And by the way, this is gonna be our last phrase and that we're gonna call it a day. So here we go. Okay, let's say your boss gives you some work to do and you finish the work ahead of schedule and under budget. And then you go tell your boss, like, I'm done with the work. And then they're gonna say, oh, seriously? Like, you done doing everything? And then you're gonna say yes, and they're gonna say something like, oh, way to go, like, congrats. They say congratulations because of your accomplishment. Like, you finished the work ahead of schedule and under budget, which is what bosses are looking for. Okay guys, I want to say thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you tomorrow.